Hello, welcome to vsdevelopers.io. Today, we'll be talking about a topic under security category, that is authentication. You might think, oh, what is authentication? I haven't heard this term so frequently. Yes, in day-to-day world, it is referred with sign in, login, or even unlock. Right? So these are the terms that you use in by signing in, by logging in, by unlocking. What you're doing is you are authenticating yourself. What is authentication? First of all, it is the process of verifying who you are. Right? So the process of verifying who is getting in, the process of validating who is logging in. So you are unlocking your phone, right? So because you know the passcode, or you know the password, or you know the pattern, right? So there are various methods that you use to unlock your phone. Now, traditionally, let's think, how did it start, right? So we used to protect our assets in a house, and when you go out, you used to lock it, right? So that's a lock, and you used to have key to it. So when you want to open it, you need that key. And when you use the key and unlock it, the house, you can use it. Right? Everything inside the house is yours. Now, what about if you have lost the key? So whoever finds it, now they own the property inside your house, isn't it? So it is a physical key that is used to unlock your assets, unlock your properties, unlock your private information or your private data, right? Unlock the territory that belongs to you only, right? So therefore, it was extremely important to have the key safe with you. Right? So that was the traditional way of it. Now we have evolved from what you have in physical form to a mental form, right? So then we came up with a numeric unlock, right? A lock used to have a numeric setting. You set a passcode, right? The passcode that we use today in phones is not something new. Right? It's been there from ages. So you used to unlock with a pattern or with a numeric key. You typically four digits. Right? So do you have that somewhere? Do you save that key somewhere? No, right? So it's only in your memory. You have to save it in your memory so that you can unlock the property that belongs to you. So the possibility of losing the key is very less, unless someone provokes you, unless someone threatens you with ransomware and all that. So you won't reveal that key. So earlier key that you used to have it, right? And now what you have is not a physical key, but what you know has become the key. So slight variation, make a note of it. So what you have, the physical key, what you know is the numeric key. Right? Even today's passcode, your pattern, your password, all of them are what you know, right? What you know. So you have to remember them. Now moving on, that is still possible, right? So we do social engineering, we get to know the person, and even as the number of applications that you own are increasing, it is extremely difficult to memorize the passwords. For each application you can give a different password, and if you own 20 different applications, so you have to have your memory for 20 different passwords. I myself can't remember more than 5. It is extremely difficult. So there came up the password managers, and there came up the, as an individual, we use one single password across different applications, which means if one password is exploited, your you know your applications, the private applications or confidential applications or financial applications, are at a toss. If a malicious user is aware of your password, one application's password, so you can easily unlock other applications as well, right? So therefore the challenges with what you know is no more valid. I mean, not 100% yet. It is not very difficult to exploit it. So you may use brute force as well. You can use social engineering, right? So there are various methods to attack the password mechanism. So from there, then what has come up? Okay, no, I don't want to hold any particular key with me. I don't want to memorize anything. Let me just be what I am and get authenticated. So what makes me different, right? What makes me Venky as Venky is my fingerprints, my eye retina, right? So this is biologically, this makes me unique. This makes me a different person from you. So now we started coming up with biometric, and then we started coming up with fingerprint and other combinations of what uniquely identifies your body, right? So now this is the next generation from what you are, and yet we're not happy with it, right? For some of the documents or some of the extremely confidential data, you need not just one level of authentication. Go back to the you know uh, old movies where there are two keys, right? One key will be with you, one key will be with the treasurer. You need two keys to unlock it, right? So what is that we are doing? So far what we have talked about is only one single factor authentication. Now here, the treasurer and you owning two keys to unlock one locker is a two-factor authentication, isn't it? Even today, right? If you go to a bank, a physical bank, and then you want to rent a locker that is safe, right? So you call it safe or you call it locker. So you want to rent it, and you go to the bank and fill an application form, get that you will be given a key, and the banker will have another key. When you want to open and keep something inside, you and the banker both should be in. So that's a two-factor authentication. So two-factor authentication is something not new to us, right? Now same thing we'll do it in the software industry as well. So you use two factors to authenticate yourself that you are you, and you get access to the application. Typically the first factor could be username password, that is what you know. The second factor could be what you are. The combination of it, right? Even your text message OTP is also considered to be a password, what is sent across to you in a different channel during your authentication process. It's not something that you know before, it's not something that you had before, it's not something what you are. That is something generated on demand live to authenticate you as you using your cell phone. So this is a process of authentication and different types of authentications and the evolution of authentication types, authentication mechanisms. Now, from single factor to two factor has become a common phenomenon for security reasons, right? So to provide a better security, you have two-factor authentication. If you have more than two-factor, we call it like multi-factor authentication, right? So your phone, your some of the banking applications, they already use multi-factor authentication and two-factor authentication, right? So now let's categorize. There are different types of authentications. Let's take basic authentication that you have been typically using in the Windows world, and then you have forms based authentication, and then you have NTLM, the Windows specific authentication. You have Kerberos protocol based authentication, the Kerberos token based authentication, and then you have hardware tokens, and you have OAuth tokens. So the token has come as your primary source of authentication. We'll talk more in detail when we talk about OAuth as a separate topic. What is this token based authentication, which is very prominent these days? Now, not just the token based authentication, we combine it with another factor, which is biometric, with what you are, right? And then the security the PKI brings in, public key infrastructure, private key and public key. So you get authenticated with your public key private key combination. So these are the different types of authentications that are implemented today in the industry. And now from there you have your biometric, your phones have it today, you have your face recognition, right, which uses your facial features as well as your eye retina to identify you as you, right? So there are biometric variations that you have, and there are different types of token authentications you have, and there are memorization, the username passwords of different category you have, and the public key infrastructure, taking the benefit of the mathematical complexity that involves in brute forcing and breaking these keys. So they consider to be very secure. So these are the different type of authentication, even including your OTP, right? The one-time password. It expires in 5 minutes or 10 minutes, and then another one, the push notification, right? When you log in, so you will be pushed a notification onto your mobile if you're logging in from a different device, so that you authenticate yourself from this device. Yes, this is me who is logging in. You would also know if someone else is logging in from somewhere, a malicious user, you will get a notification on your mobile, right? Push notification, hey, there is an attempt to log in from so and so device, from so and so place. Is that you? You will have a choice to say no. So that's a push notification. So these are all different authentication types. And so, and we continue to talk more about these different authentications and what it takes to break them, right? How do people attack these authentication types, right? How do people easily guess the username and password, right? And how the tokens can be stolen. And you also have various types of attacks on targeted towards the authentication. So this is an intro, and we'll continue to talk more on authentication types and authentication attacks and the better practices to secure your credentials and secure your applications. That's all for today, and thank you for watching. For more information, visit vsdevelopers.io. Thank you.